There's a train station in Trillium with lines that run to Red Cedar and beyond, but you decide to make the hike on foot, taking your time to do some training and collect berries for Mateo. The way is mountainous, but the path is well maintained. The fauna you see is mostly the same as you've seen in other forests so far, but you spot Morlil, Phantom, and Trevenant here and there. When you pass an area called Memorial Forest, you detour to explore it, but the forest is dense and there are no clear trails. There are trees of all ages, many of them with wooden plaques near their base. The ones you can still read bear names, dates, and epitaphs. You decide not to venture too far. Red Cedar is a small town, but it has more totem poles than you've seen even in Quercus. The carvings are stylized, but you think you recognize depictions of humans, Flower, Ursaring, Braviary, Lycanroc, and Murkrow. Atop the tallest poles is a Pokemon you don't recognize with enormous wings, a crooked beak, horns, and a human face on its belly. You head for the theater, which is surprisingly large and fancy compared to the rest of Red Cedar.
Hi, Mateo. I picked a few berries for you on the way here. I have some Bluck, Cherry, Leppa, Raz, and Raspberries. Will these work?
Thanks, Nova. Oh yeah, these look great. Very juicy. It can be difficult to be sustainable when you're building props and scenery all the time. We upcycle what we can, and the berries make great paint. I said I would give you a token thing, didn't I? I'm sure I can make up something. Yep, there you go. While you're in town, do you want to help build some props? Oh, and you should definitely catch a production or two.
You spend a few days exploring the town. You build props with Mateo and the others at the theater. You peruse the local street market where people trade crafts and produce. You watch a production of the famous Galarian play King AZ that reimagines the story in modern times. You decide to set off for Prunis Island. There is a ferry from Red Cedar to Kinnikinnick and on to Prunis Island. It is much smaller than the ferry you took to reach Uloima, and the trip is much shorter. The ferry docks far from town, so you take the example of other passengers and use one of the shared e-bikes to get there faster. Anna rides in the basket, the others fly along. In town, the first thing you notice is the local community kitchen. Smaller than the one in Trillium, but there's a big tree growing out of it.
Indigo would be disappointed if I didn't stop to eat.
Nova, that is you, isn't it? And Daisy, good to see you again. I see you've made other friends too. How have you been? Had any trouble navigating the woods or anything like that?
Not so far. I've just been doing what I learned at the Rufflet Scouts.
Sorry, Eric, I gotta get going.
Oh wait, Selena, this is Nova. They just arrived here about 6 months ago.
Hi, Nova. I'm Selena, and this fair fruit is Achilles. Are you a wanderer? Do you want to come take a look at the community garden? There's a cytosis that started living in the middle of it, and we're trying to figure out how to get it to leave.
Sure, I tried dealing with cytosis before, but it didn't go well.
Well, come with me. Let's see if we can think of something. See you later, Eric. Let me introduce you to my other partners. The Tinkertuff here is Penny, and the Tyrant is Gregory.
Whoa! A real live tyrant? Can I pet him?
Yeah, of course. Oh, just be careful. Gregory's very bitey. Here, have a rock. He loves these as a snack.
You reach out your hand to offer Gregory the rocks. He lunges forward and gets your whole hand in his mouth. You'll pull back quickly. Your hand is slimy, but not hurt. You pet Gregory while he crunches on its rocks.
How did you meet Gregory? I thought tyrant were extinct.
Oh, we met way out on the far end of Uloima. People see all kinds of weird stuff out there. Giant apes, extinct Pokemon, crazy chimera. Oh, here we are. So the cytosis has been here for a couple of days. We've tried food, we've tried battles, but no luck so far. You got any ideas?
How about I have Tiger's Eye put it to sleep? Maybe that will make it easier to move.
But when you get ready, cytosis attacks before you get the chance. Selena lets you take the lead in the battle, coaching with encouragement. Using Fiery Dance and Mud Slap, Tiger's Eye is able to avoid cytosis' poison jabs and razor leaves, and eventually lands the sleep powder.
Good work. I think we just need to pick it up and move it now. I don't have any spare gloves, but here, use this apron to protect your hands. I'll stand on this side. Nova, you go over there, and Penny over there. Ready? On 3.
You gently lift the cytosis and put it down away from the garden beds. It stays asleep.
Nova, do you mind keeping an eye on it? I'm just gonna straighten out these plants, and then we can go ask someone to help us relocate it.
How come there are gardens right in the middle of the city like this?
Oh, it's all about food security. So we live on a little island here, right? And if all of our food comes from the mainland and then the ferry breaks down, we're not going to get any shipments. So we can't rely on food that's coming from far away. Small farms and community gardens just like this one help everybody. Hey, is that Eric? What's wrong?
Selena, I just got a call. Ray passed away.
Oh no.
Ray passed away?
Did you know Ray? I'm sorry, Nova. Ray was such an icon. Even my parents had Ray as their political mentor. Selena, I'm going back to the mainland to arrange the funeral.
Everyone is gathered at the memorial forest. You give your father a hug. Some people are wearing black, others are wearing white, or ornate regalia made of fur and feathers. You recognize a few people, but it's a big crowd of both humans and Pokemon. Eric, Sage, and 2 other people carry a wooden plank. Ray lies on top of it, wrapped in a blanket. They lead the procession deep into the forest until they reach a clearing. There is no grave, and Ray is placed directly on the soil, with only the blanket around Ray. Nosy the Furfrou lies down next to the body. Oracle the Sylveon looks anxious and moves between different people until Sage kneels to hug and hold it. Many people say a few words. Ray has guided this community, kept us all going. Ray did Ray's best to find a successor, to have someone that can keep doing what Ray's always done. We have to step up. We all have to be the person that Ray wanted us to be. It's a scary world out there. Makes me anxious every time I read the news from the outside. There's only one way we're going to make it through, and it's together.
Ray was the closest thing to a parent I had besides Rogers. Ray encouraged me to start the counseling center and helped me find my place. Ray's presence has radiated across the community, across time. Ray was a pillar for us all, and that pillar is not gone. Everything that Ray taught us is still in all of us. Ray was not just a pillar. Ray created pillars. The grief and sadness we're feeling are beautiful because they show just how much Ray touched all of our lives.
Ray had been part of this community for longer than anyone can remember. Everyone knows that my values don't align with the community, but Ray never once told me to step down. Maybe tone it down, maybe be a little nicer. But Ray's always encouraged me to keep fighting for what I believe in. Thank you, Ray. I'm sorry I didn't get to say goodbye.
How are you holding up, kiddo?
It's sad to be at another funeral already, even though this one's very different from Mom's.
Someone starts singing in a language you don't know, and slowly the crowd joins in. Even the Pokemon are chirping and grunting and stomping along. It sounds both happy and sad, cacophonous but still beautiful. Eric places a plaque next to Ray's body, then starts to lead the procession back out of the forest. As you turn to leave, you notice that Oracle is coming with Sage, but Nosy and Rogers are staying with Ray's body.
Hi, Nova. Has anyone explained to you what all that was about? You know everything has to go back to the community, right? In our tradition, we offer the bodies of our dead back to nature too. Ray will become sustenance and nutrition for the plants, fungi, and even Pokemon.
You spend a quiet week in Trillium with your father. It feels like it's been no time at all since the Festival of First Harvest, but Trillium is already having another celebration, the Festival of Gratitude. You help set up the tables for the big outdoor feast, and even help to build a bonfire at the center of the park.
Well, it ain't Supernova. How's it going?
I'm still a little sad because Ray passed away. But other than that, it's been alright. This is my new friend, Anna. Ooh, I got my hand in the mouth of a tyrant.
What? That's nuts. Sounds like a laugh riot.
Hi, Nova. Hello, AC. We're lighting the bonfire. There's a little ritual we do at this festival. Let me show you. Think of something you want to throw away, a feeling or thought that you don't want to carry around anymore. Now put that feeling into a little package. I'm going to put my feelings into this acorn and wrap it in a leaf. Just a little symbol, you know? Now you throw it into the fire and watch those worries burn away. Now you can focus on the things in your life that you are grateful for. Hey, where did AC get off to?
You take a feather from Daisy, one from each of Eclipse, a bit of fur from Tiger's Eye, and a leaf from Anna. You roll them into a ball. You think of your fear of fire and toss the ball into the flames.
Now it's a party!
AC and Hellcat have armfuls of, what are those, fireworks? They are throwing them into the bonfire, but AC trips and is falling into the fire himself. Time slows down, colors, explosions everywhere. Little fires catch all over the park.
Daisy, use Aquajet!
Daisy knocks AC out of the fire. Ari and Rogers are protecting people and escorting screaming children away from the flames. Scraps sits on the small fires to put them out. Indigo rushes to AC.
Zifu, what were you thinking?
Hey, it's a free place. I can do whatever I want.
Here, Indigo. I brought some raspberry jam.
You know that's not how it works, AC. Now hold still and let me treat your burns.
Hey, get off me. I'm a fire master. You think I can get burned so easily? I bring the heat around here.
Hardwood the sawsbuck rushes into the park with a deep bellow. When you look in the direction it came from, you see an orange glow. Oh no. Everyone, we've got a wildfire! Indigo, Derek, can you watch things over here? Thanks. Come on, let's get moving. There are buckets in the kitchen. Fill them up and let's go! It's amazing how almost everyone knows exactly what to do. A bucket brigade gets set up. Water-type Pokemon rush to the site. You and Daisy go along. Someone starts a rain dance. You remember what you learned from Marjolaine. Focus on the underbrush to slow the spread. Thankfully, the fire was caught early. It takes hours, but you put it out before it spreads. Back at the park, the bonfire has been put out too. Your father gives you a tight hug.
You did so good, kiddo.
Look at them, Bitsifu. Your actions really hurt them.
It wasn't supposed to be like this. I wasn't trying to hurt nobody. It was just supposed to be funny.
You idiot! My mom died in a wildfire! Do you know what it feels like to know that your friend caused a fire? You could have caused the deaths of thousands of people and Pokemon. Never mess with fire like that. I was so afraid when you fell into the fire. I thought you were going to die.
Hey, it's gonna take more than a little fire to get to me, but thanks for thinking of me. I'm sorry, Supernova.
You notice Sage is sitting by themselves, holding something in their hand.
Have you seen Pika anywhere? Her disguise. It got burned.
You spend the next few days helping to clean up and restore the park. You visit Sage at the counseling center where humans and Pokemon work together. A Medicham helps with mindfulness, a Smeargle leads art therapy, a Shiinotic offers aromatherapy. You hear from Sage that Pika has returned. Soon, you feel ready to travel again. It's the start of fall, after all, and soon the days will become too short to accomplish much in. This time, you take the train to Red Cedar. You only spend a couple of days there, but while exploring the beach, you see two Pokemon you had not spotted before.
Gastrodon, the sea slug Pokemon, a dragon and poison type. They produce no poison of their own, but absorb it from their prey. They are often seen in rocky tide pools. Shelgon, the armored slug Pokemon, a dragon and steel type and an evolved form of Gastrodon. Only Gastrodon that live a long time can grow an iron shell and evolve into Shelgon. Scuba equipment is usually necessary to see them.
Then, you take the train onto Ladyfern. You make your usual stop at the local community kitchen, where you try something called a Ladyfern bar, a sweet made of nuts, custard, and chocolate. It's delicious. You also hear about a Stantler mountain race.
Beginners welcome? Yeah, I'll give it a try. I'd love to ride a Stantler.
Stantler racing is serious business around here. People come from all over to participate in the expert category. The amateur category is mostly children around your age, and the Stantler don't need any direction. They know where to go. But your ride is falling behind.
Are you alright? Is it your hoof hurting? Am I sitting wrong?
You try to shift, but then the Stantler trips. You take a tumble. It gets up right away, apparently unscathed, but your ankle hurts. Before you can wonder how you're going to mount the Stantler again, a Flygon and an unusual Kilowattrel land next to you.
Storm Kilowattrel, the thunder Pokemon, an electric and dragon type and an evolved form of Wattrel. It gathers primordial energy in its throat sac, then expels it as flashes of lightning.
Hey, what happened here?
I think I sprained my ankle. Can you help me?
Okay, we'll take you back to the medical tent. I'll have you ride Shiba, that's the Kilowattrel. The Flygon is Antares. I'm Charon. Here, I'll help you up and strap you in to be safe. Ready?
You take off, with Charon riding Antares. These Pokemon can clearly fly very fast, but they are taking it slow.
So, your name is Nova. You're new here, right? Are there any Pokemon you're hoping to see in Uloima?
I heard that some people have sighted Mamoker and Tetrank alive. I would love to see one of those.
I've heard those rumors, but I fly around all over the place, so I would have spotted them myself by now.
Are those flight goggles you're wearing?
Custom made. They have night vision for when it gets dark out, and it's even equipped with a camera. Flying around, I see a lot of beautiful sights. It's what makes my work worth it. So with these, I can safely snap some photos without having to use my hands.
You give your ankle a few days to heal, but then decide to ride the train onward to Cottonwood. It sits between the enormous Basculegion Lake and a long ocean fjord. A hydroelectric dam controls the flow from the lake to the ocean. The towns you visit now seem to get smaller each time, but Cottonwood is home to a huge logistics office, and lumber is harvested and processed nearby. Float houses and smaller hydropower stations dot the lakeshore. As you explore the lakeside and seaside, you notice that while many of the wild Pokemon you see are the same you've been seeing since you arrived, there are many other Pokemon here. Kingler, Zubat and a whole colony of Golbat, Wurmple and all of its evolved forms, Shroomish and Breloom, Nincada, Ninjask and many Shedinja, Illumise, Snorunt, Fungus and Amoonguss, Joltik and Galvantula, Rowlet and Dartrix, Pikipek and Trumbeak. You see a herd of evergreen Sawsbuck again. One day, walking along the dam, you notice a canid Pokemon.
Tidal Lycanroc, the wave Pokemon, a rock and water type, and an evolved form of Rockruff. Its movements are fluid and its attacks are like a crashing wave. It hunts just as well in water as it does on land.
With the Lycanroc is a person who looks familiar. They are fiddling with what looks like a mechanical shrine. When you notice the Yamask with the eye patch, it clicks.
Hi, Jen. Hi, Vlad.
Nova, I haven't seen you since we arrived. You've got yourself quite the troop. The other day I met someone who said you'd seen Mesprit. You must be very pure of heart. Their name's Sage. They're out on the water now. Oh, here they come.
Sage is riding a large Pokemon on the water. Rogers and Ari are accompanying from the air. Pika is riding Rogers, and as they land, you see that Pika's disguise has been patched with a hot rod flame pattern.
Still no luck.
Darn, it's so hard without knowing what they're really like. I saw the Lake Guardians a long time ago, but have you ever seen one, Sage?
Nah, I've only heard the legends. I'd love to hear your story.
Oh, it's not really a good story. I saw them in captivity.
Wait, what?
A long time ago, I worked with someone who wanted to see what kind of power Pokemon really have. He blew up lakes to find the Lake Guardians, and he's succeeded. But I don't think that's a good idea here. I want them to forgive me.
Oh, is that why you're looking for them?
Jen nods, and everyone is quiet for a moment.
Oh, Nova, this is Trapper the Roarquay.
Roarquay, the humpback Pokemon, a dragon type. Humans are known to have ridden their backs across oceans. The eye patterns along their body help deter aerial predators.
You decide to toss some of your berries to Trapper, but they slip from your grasp and fall on the concrete. The Lycanroc dives for it and swallows it. It looks at you expectantly, then nudges your leg. It flickers, and the illusion breaks. It was a white Zorua.
Chance, leave Nova alone.
You try again, and this time the berries sail cleanly into Trapper's gaping maw. Beside you, Anna is staring intently at the shrine machine thing.
So, what is this? Anna looks interested in it.
Oh, it's just something I hacked together to help detect the Lake Guardians. It used to be called the Cosmic Forge, but it's more of a cosmic fireplace now. I'm no expert, but I've been going over the research notes Cyrus left behind, and I'm okay with technology, but the mystical summoning techniques, I can't even guess why they'd work.
Anna bumps into the machine.
Hey, be careful there. It's fragile.
Anna bumps it harder.
Anna, stop it! What do you need?
Anna hits harder still. The machine topples and cracks open against the concrete.
Anna! Why did you do that?
My Cosmic Forge, it's broken.
Anna rummages in the cracked body of the machine. There's a smooth, dark gemstone inside. When Anna touches it, she starts to glow. But when the evolution is done, it isn't the Sweetroot Lilligant you expected.
Camosh, the Bastion Pokemon, a grass and ghost type and an evolved form of Bittersweet Petaloo. More aggressive than Lilligant, Camosh were once unwanted near gardens and farms. However, their protective instinct has come to be seen as an asset.
What, Anna? You were trying to evolve?
Congratulations, Anna.
Next time you need something, tell me, okay? We can't go around breaking things like that.
You broke the Cosmic Forge. For a moment, I thought, then you evolved. I don't know anything about Pokemon.
I hope you're okay, Jen. I think this just means we weren't going to find anything anyway. Maybe we can work together and come up with something even better?
Right. Thank you, Sage.
In the meantime, Nova, if you want to explore the coast, Trapper's a great ride. Here, this is the whistle I used to call it. You can have it.
You decide to ride Trapper along the coast of Urbana. Maybe you'll run into Slick there. To prepare, you visit a water sports equipment library to borrow a suitable harness and dry suits that fit both you and Anna. The open waters can be rough and cold this time of year. Seeing Trapper leap out of the lake water and over the dam to reach the ocean is awe-inspiring. Trapper makes the trip quick and smooth. Your flying partners accompany from the air. You spot Inkei, Tentacool and Tentacruel, Aracuda and Barraskewda. When a flock of storm kilowattrel fly overhead, Trapper dives down. It catches you by surprise, but you have the right equipment. And it lets you see even more Pokemon. Pincurchin, Stunfisk, Marini, a Graplocked, and even a Delmise. And gathering in enormous groups...
Bulractus, the kelp Pokemon, a water and grass type. They gather in large groups just offshore. Because they are large and slow moving, they create an excellent habitat for small aquatic Pokemon.
You make landfall in Verbena Beach, and decide that when you make your way back, you'll hike and see the mountains.
Thank you, Trapper. Let me get that harness off you. You can go enjoy the ocean. If I need you again, I'll blow the whistle.
Walking along the beach toward the town, you see Binnacle and Barbaracle, Cramorant, Rufflet and Resplendent Braviary, Dwebble and Crustle, Rockruff and Tidal Lycanroc, and a few Vibrava. It's a long beach, and you take the time to do some training with Anna. Anna wants to go all out, and you have to convince her to hold back. You also see beautiful curling waves and people surfing them. Some spare boards are sitting on the beach, so you decide to try surfing. You did not do well, but you have fun anyway. In Verbena itself, you find out that Slick is out of town on a job and not expected back for several days. After a visit to the nearby natural hot springs, you gear up for the return hike toward Cottonwood. The hike isn't easy, but you've been doing so much walking for the last few months, you take it in stride. Over many days, you lead Daisy, Eclipse, Tiger's Eye, and Anna through dense forests, rocky climbs, and muddy soil. The days are getting shorter and the nights are getting colder, but as long as you keep moving, you're not bothered. Your Pokenaturalist identification list continues to grow with Pokemon like Lowland Sneasel and Weavile, Pidgeotto and Pidgeot, Snover and Abomasnow, Crabominable, Quilava and Typhlosion. You see a herd of Evergreen Sawsbuck again. It's almost like they're following you, only this time there's a Pokemon among the Sawsbuck that looks different. You take a photo, but you're too far away for identification. Your phone rings.
Nova, this is Nina. Can you hear me? How are you?
The connection is very bad. I'm on a mountain. I'm doing okay, though. I just saw this herd of Sawsbuck where one of them looked different from the others. Taller and a different color. I can't tell what it is from here.
Sawsbuck? Do you remember what I told you about some Pokemon becoming gods? Could be. But that's not what I wanted to ask you about. I heard you're interested in joining the self-defense community. Did you want to have another battle?
I'm definitely interested, but I'm not ready to settle down yet. I want to see more of Uloima. I'll let you know when I'm in town again, okay? Tiger's Eye really wants to battle Helios again.
Sure. If you ever want to talk to someone about joining, hit me up, since I'm...
The call drops. You have no signal. Oh well, you push on. You see Satotl, Alpine Sandshrew and Sandslash, a single Flygon, and Manny Durant. A loud roar echoes through the mountains. You send Daisy to find the source. Daisy whistles urgently and leads the way. There's a huge Arcanine with scars on its muzzle facing a small woman who is very pregnant.
Fuck off, you overgrown ball of fluff.
You approach carefully. In a nearby tree, you notice an Espeon and a Phosphor watching the scene. The woman turns to you.
What?
What's going on here? You're pregnant. You're in the mountains, and you're yelling at each other.
We were supposed to be riding through the mountains. This one decided I am no longer capable of that. Couldn't you have changed your mind closer to home?
Are you having, what are they called, contractions?
No, absolutely not. This baby isn't doing anything for a while yet. Thankfully, I can ride just fine.
I'm Nova. What's your name?
Right. I'm Lenore. This is Romulus. That's Francis, and the little one is Francis's new friend. Doesn't have a name yet. Sorry I yelled at you, just having a bad day. What are you doing out in the mountains by yourself?
I'm not by myself. I have my Pokemon with me. This is Daisy, Tiger's Eye, Anna, and Eclipse. Romulus, if you weren't comfortable with bringing her, you shouldn't have started. Giving up now is not cool.
Will you take me across the mountain if we take the lower trail and you go slow? Fine. Good. Romulus is very fast, very efficient to get around a region like this, when he feels like it.
Before you go, can I pet the Phosphor?
Francis growls. Romulus growls at Francis. The Phosphor meows and steps forward. It is so small, it must be a newborn. When you touch it, it purrs loudly.
I forgot how warm fire-type Pokemon are.
Romulus nuzzles you and rolls onto its back. You truckle and scratch its chin.
You big sucker. Come on, let's go.
You continue your hike. You see wild Phosphor and Purifier. You add Cacnea, Aron, Glalie, and Tinkatink to your Pokenaturalist ID list. You finally spot a Pokemon you remember seeing in the welcome video.
Order, the generator Pokemon, a fighting and electric type and an evolved form of Flower. Their large tails are efficient at generating electricity from wind. They have developed exceptional upper body strength and balance.
The wind is getting colder and colder. Maybe you aren't as well equipped as you thought. How long will it be before you reach Cottonwood anyway? You shiver. Daisy, Eclipse, and Anna all look cold too. Tiger's Eye is keeping itself warm with Fiery Dance. It's starting to snow. Ahead of you, almost glowing amid the snow, is a large feline Pokemon.
Equiper, the Ultras Pokemon, a fire type and an evolved form of Purifier. It will start or stop fires depending on the needs of its environment. Its tail fur can be used in fireproof clothing.
It approaches you slowly, purring. It nudges you to mount it. You stretch out your hand. The fire on its shoulders isn't all that hot. Carefully, you climb on. The glowing band around Equiper's waist feels like a seat warmer. Anna sits in front of you. The others fly close as it dashes, quickly and elegantly down the mountain. You pass Lenore and Romulus, who are traveling much more slowly.
Oh, come on!
And just as the sky starts to darken, you reach Cottonwood. When you dismount, you wrap your arms around the Equiper's neck.
Thank you. You came at just the right time. Do you want to travel with me for a bit? I would really like that. I can call you Autumn. You like it? Nice. Come on, let's all go find somewhere to eat.
At the local community kitchen, you run into Sage and Jen again. Indigo is with them, and not cooking this time.
It's the Festival of Spirits tomorrow. We're supposed to rest, so Derek sent me away. I came to keep Sage company.
I had a client die some time ago. The resting place is around here. It's where I met Pika earlier this summer, actually.
I'm just here because it's where Vlad and Chance want to be. Reckoning with what we owe the dead is not my favorite festival activity. But I guess Sage and I can continue our project while we're here.
Noah, is that Equiper with you? Looks like you're doing a little better with fire.
This is Autumn. We just met today. They got me out of the mountains. It's been kind of freeing to know that a fire-type Pokemon won't hurt me.
You spend the next morning getting to know Autumn. In the afternoon, you regroup with the others.
So what is the Festival of Spirits?
It's where we thank those who came before us for their wisdom and guidance. Our elders, our ancestors, and the Pokemon that give us their milk, their eggs, and their meat for our survival.
We should out to the square just before nightfall. There's no big feast or party today, but there's a beautiful ritual. You should take part.
Oh, and call your father. I'm sure Derek would love to hear your voice.
That's a good idea. Excuse me. Hi, Dad. Yeah, I'm okay. I have a new friend I can't wait for you to meet. Indigo told me today's the Festival of Spirits, so I've been thinking about Mom.
Me too, kiddo. And I'm sure she's thinking about us wherever she is. You're in good company over there? Good. Let me know next time you'll be near Trillium, okay? Miss you.
When you rejoin the others, Jen and Sage are talking about the Lake Guardians, of course. Chance the White Zorua is taking the shape of a Litwick. You think that's Chance anyway.
Ever since she died, I've been looking for guidance. Now I've lost Ray too. I hope one of the Lake Guardians can show me the way.
I'd be glad of that too. I know that it probably sounds funny me with 2 ghost Pokemon, but I don't really like ghosts. I see Blissy's ghost every night. My Blissey died when I worked for, him.
Come on, let's go to the square. It's almost time.
There's a big crowd. Candles are being passed out. There are different shapes for human hands, and Pokemon with no hands, but none of them are lit. The sky is dim, and there are no lights on in the park. Someone steps onto a small stage. A Litwick rests on her shoulder. She lights the candle in her hand with the fire from Litwick, and then holds the candle over her head.
May the light of those who came before touch and guide us all.
Then she reaches down and uses her candle to light the candles of those around her. They, in turn, light other candles. Slowly, every candle is lit. There are no lights on, but the park looks bright. As you admire the scene, Eclipse starts to circle your head. From the way they dance around each other, you understand what they're telling you.
So you're ready to be on your own again? It's been really great traveling with you for the last few months. We'll miss you, Eclipse. I hope we'll see each other again someday.